Alright, so actually I'm gonna cut it here. And the last couple of videos have been relatively short. I mean, compared to like the over an hour one I did, and the one that I did first was like 45 minutes. But this one I think is like, I don't know, 40 minutes or so. So I think that's plenty for now. I'll get back to probably do another one tonight. But for now, I'm gonna go play some Gary's Mod. So bye bye. Alright guys, back for another episode of Dwarf Fortress. And this time, we're going to see some of the actual development of the fort take place during the episode. In the past, I've kind of just fast-forwarded, but we've got a lot of stuff going on because I've been through Dwarf Therapist, and I have uh, unstone detailed most of the population. We still have about 20 full-time stone detailers, but that's because they all have at least 5 skill points in stone detailing. And so they're all pretty good at it. And in fact, we've almost got 3 legendary. We've already got 2. And so definitely have some pretty great stone detailers. And we've got a human, or not a human. This is a liaison from the mountain homes who showed up, and a traded caravan is here. So I've had my dwarves start bringing stuff to the trade depot for trade, and you'll see just how extremely valuable these finished goods bins are. And at the same time, we'll probably buy everything they have depending on how much they've brought. And it looks like they brought a bunch of random assortment of goods. But things on the first floor are going pretty well. I've still the stone has been moved out a little bit more since last video, but most of the stuff we need here is like done already. Like for now, I mean, there's going to be a lot more construction going on in the future, but as far as the first floor goes, pretty much everything we need for now is done. I did add a few more beds in since the last video, and I will be assigning these in a little bit. But let's take a look at what I've added on since last time. Go down. This is the floor with the crafting stuff, and then the staircase goes down to the stockpiles. Now, on the same floor, I've managed to connect the major causeway on the 3rd floor down to both the waterworks, which, again, I have not even really started on yet because I'm still working on getting everyone to have jobs before we start adding in water and the plumbing system. And then now I've added in, this is kind of the animal caretaking center of the fortress, still under construction. In fact, we haven't even completed the this part here, which is just the hub that goes down to that from the 1st floor and the 2nd floor. So that's under construction though. And I've had the miners create this area here, which is gonna be a miasma vent. Basically what it's for is because there are butcher shops on the floor below, and you can see that's what these 3 structures are here with the little piles of meat or whatever that is. One here, and one here, and all 3 of these butcher shops are going to be pretty much constantly producing meat once I get them all tasked up and set up right. But the problem with that is when they butcher an animal, miasma is going to come out. And so what I've done is I've carved fortifications all along this wall, and whenever miasma comes out, it should go out into this chamber and drift upwards into this little area here. And right now I'm just removing the floor on that area and finalizing that detail. We've had a couple of cavern collapses, but no one was injured, not seriously anyways. We did have one of the unnamed miners, because now we have a couple more than just Stalin and Pedro. But they were knocked unconscious and stunned for a little bit, but they didn't actually get any limb damage or any real injuries so far as I know. I mean, I've yet to have them check in with the hospital because the chief medical dwarf is busy right now. But they might have some kind of like a concussion or something, but should be fine. We are at 103 dwarves. Our created wealth 246,539. The majority of our people are either, and this is a little bit under 50% of our people are either stoneworkers because they've been engravers, or they're farmers. And I've assigned a whole bunch of new people to the farming labor. And we had a bunch of farmers that were working as stone detailers, but now I've put them full-time farm duty. And the reason for that is because we're going to start up our cloth industry soon. right now I've actually got enough cloth that I bought in bins. You can see here these are all just bins full of cloth in the cloth stockpile. But these are all completely full of cloth that I bought from the merchants, and so there's no shortage of it to make goods. Right now I'm just pumping out cloth bags for use of seed collection and stuff. We did have the person that was here in this Craft Dwarf's workshop go insane. And so I walled them in. You can see this floor is unsmooth where I put the walls up. I'll go ahead and smooth that down. But they eventually went insane. They did not go berserk, however. They went melancholy. And I'm sure in one of these rooms we'll find the dwarf. Oh, never mind. Just standing on a table in the main dining hall, it looks like. And he's going to starve himself or dehydrate himself to death. It remains to be seen which path he will choose, but it looks to be the moment he's gonna dehydrate to death. And he'll die, and someone will have to move his body to a new coffin. I've yet to place that. So that's what happened with the crazy dude. Also finished pretty much the construction of this entire wing of the fortress right now. There's a couple pieces. You can see they're digging out the last remnants on this floor of the projects that we need to do. I've started to deal with the second floor of this hallway to make it all open space, so that when you're on this floor right here and you're walking along here, there's air above your head, so that'll be useful. Everything on this area is dug out, and we're still waiting on. I assigned this job before I even assigned the nobles' quarters to dig out the last little bit of the dormitories, and they haven't completed it yet. So obviously a lot of stuff has been going on, so that's why I keep tasking new jobs before they can get back to the old ones. So yeah, oh, and we finally promoted Observer to Bookkeeper status, so now we have completely accurate counts. You can see where we have 1,918 food, we have 36 meat. It goes down to the very specific numbers. There's no shortage of accuracy in that front. He's constantly working on bookkeeping. Like, he doesn't have any jobs at all except to just keep track of numbers. You can see he's actually brought a barrel of alcohol in there to his office, and he's just got that there because he's going to spend all his time in this office or in his noble bedroom, which I'm going to be creating probably during this episode. So yeah, that's what's happened so far. Go ahead and unpause it. We do have a lot of idlers. The reason for that is because although I have designated out the labors for all the different people, we still don't have the industry required that is going to make those labors useful. I do have an ashery and a wood furnace now. I have been making ash and turning it into lye for quite a while, so hopefully we'll get enough of that to start using it for more productive purposes like potash, which we can use to fertilize stuff. And maybe that can then set up a glass industry, which will enable our dwarves to get some real work done, really start beautifying the fortress. Because glass, I really want to develop that industry during this Let's Play. I've never really done glass industry very heavily, and I think it'd be really cool to start pumping out glass objects. The forges are going to be on the agenda, creating all the forges so our dwarves can start working on metal objects. We've got more than enough. I mean, like, just literally all these like little silver dropping things, those are bituminous coal. So we've got more than enough fuel, more than enough metal ore, all that, all this stuff here, these little red spotted thingies here, these are all magnetite, all iron ore. So there's going to be no shortage at all of iron to use, or fuel. And primarily it's going to be a steel industry at first, I think. Haven't discovered any real precious metals so far. Ooh, section of the cavern has collapsed. Let's see if anyone's injured. Looks like they're still up here. Pedro is digging that out. Doesn't look like there's any injuries there. Ooh, some real explosions that time. Go ahead and check and see. It looks like, yeah, they're just stunned. Stalin and Pedro just stunned. They are digging out a pretty dangerous area. Whenever you're channeling down and there's not floor underneath you, there's a pretty significant risk involved, but It's only one floor high, and I don't think there's going to be a real problem. What tends to happen and cause these collapses, I think, is that, oh, there's the liaison from the mountain homes. He's wanting to talk to me about exports and stuff. Is that dwarves will stand on like this tile right here, and then the other dwarves will come up and mine the tile they're standing on out from underneath them and cause a collapse. It actually can collapse for any reason because there's no support to it, but the dwarves falling down and getting hurt, that's why it would happen. So far, they've all been relatively intelligent about it. So, and now we actually have a lot of people on medical duty. I assigned, a good probably 20% of the dwarves that were on stone detail duty are now medical duty dwarves. So once I get more situated, I'll be able to start dealing with the hospital. And at the moment, we don't really have the ability to do that. I'm going to finish out this area of the hospital. I've got a ton of beds now. Had the wood carpenter. When I made Cyber Viking no longer go out and cut wood, he constantly creates wood items for us because he's a legendary carpenter, so that's a good thing. Alright, so here's the mountain homes. He wants to talk with us about what we want to import. And it looks like our mayor is this Asmel Lacoterith Fisher Dwarf. And I think he's actually a legendary Fisher Dwarf. I'm not sure. But I have not designated anybody else to be mayor yet. This guy's going to be temporary, or I'm going to give him to a new person, name him out that way. Haven't decided yet. But what I really want from them is silk cloth. That's going to be a high priority because we have no means of collecting silk at the moment. Because I don't want to move into the caverns yet. It's always relatively dangerous down there. Going to order up wood because wood, even though I have, ample means of getting wood, it's just always better when you can move in tons of wood to the lower floor or to the stockpile without having to move very far. And then, of course, lots and lots of metal bars. Those are always important to have. Always order these from the mountain homes because they always have the most plentiful stockpiles of these goods. So just go through all these and give them high priority. And seeds, I want to get sweet pods and rock nuts. Actually, lots and lots of rock nuts. And sweet pods allow you to make, I think it's dwarven honey or nectar, maybe. I'm not sure, but that's it'll be a nice liquid extract because I'm gonna be setting up our cooking industry pretty soon. Gonna order up a couple of anvils. Well, not a couple. I'll give them a priority to bring at least some anvils. And what else do we need? Pets. What do you got? Llamas, dogs, cow, horse, donkey, mule, bull. Boring pets. Gonna order up lots of the wine, food, all that stuff. Cheese don't care about. Flour, no, 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 no. Silk bags, thread. Silk thread would be useful as well, just so that I can make it myself. I mean, it'll be cheaper than the actual cloth, and plus they'll actually bring it. Glass, I don't really care. Buckets, splints, crutches. What's that miscellaneous? Ooh, could order up coke and potash. Actually, I'm just going to put all of these on high priority. Because I can make all those goods, but it'd be faster to just trade for them. Because we have such a valuable amount of trade. Alright, so here we go. This is the trade screen. I think I've been here a couple times before. I'm going to just show you there's finished goods bin. One of these bins, this is a relatively low quality one, is worth 852. It actually might not be full all the way. That's a possible reason as to why it's devalued. Or that their appraisal skill or broker skill or whatever is higher than ours, so we can't cheat them out of money. Oh, here's a bin that's worth a lot of money. 1544, one bin of goods. And that's because we have two legendary craft dwarves constantly pumping out goods. 1324. This is like, what, 5 bins already have tons of cash ready to use. And I will be probably giving them a surplus of goods. So I'm going to order up everything they have. All this stuff here. Pearl ash, potash, copper bars, charcoal. All sounds good. I don't know what black pyropes means, but I might as well get it. That's glass. I'll take the glass. I don't care about the blocks. Actually, they're only 5, 10. I might as well get them. Chestnut, all the wood. And you can see on the trade screen, just in case you're not familiar with it, the value here. This number means the amount of trade I have, like amount of goods that I want from them. Money-wise, this is how much it's worth, dwarf bucks. And this is their profit. You have to give them a certain amount of profit because they are traders. They have to make a living, so they won't just give you an equal trade. The value here is the value of the goods that I have selected. Like from my screen, this is the amount of things that I would be giving them. And the allowed weight, they have to carry the stuff back home, so you can't give them too much stuff without taking away a lot of the heavy stuff, because then they will be unable to return home. Too much weight. Buy all their rose gold flasks. Ooh, a legendary pigtail fiber rope. I don't want that. Another flask. Steel drums. Interesting. I think that's an instrument. I don't know of any use of instruments other than to sell. Cages. Might as well buy some cages. They're made of metal, so they're pretty valuable. Oh, wait a second. That's not worth that much. Okay. Cow cage. Might as well buy all of their cages. Except for the cat cage. Don't want cats. As few cats as possible in the fortress. Not a fan of cats, especially in this game. They are particularly a nuisance. They do help you get rid of vermin, but they're much more annoying because they cause... Oh my. They cause remains to be left everywhere, and you can't slaughter them without upsetting their owners, and they pick their owners instead of the owners picking them as pets. This is odd. You'll see here they've got barrels full of rat blood and wolf blood and cardinal blood. Apparently there's some vicious dwarves here, our civilization. And dwarven ale, lye barrel. I'm buying all of these barrels that are useful because I want to have these items without having to make them myself. Bucket, might as well buy it. Bismuth bronze, chestnut, copper pick. I'll buy these picks. Bronze breastplate. That's nice. It's a pretty good breastplate. I'm not buying a steel low boot even if it is legendary. Steel shield, copper buckler, bronze helm. Yellow sandbag, want that. Dye bag. I think dimple cups is how you make dye. I'm not particularly certain how dye works. I've never used it. Cloth bags, buy these for sure. And it says he's now at a loss, so he would never make this trade. But I'll be giving him more finished goods bins. We have plenty of bins to go around. Buying all the leather and cloth that I can, just because it's easier to not have to make this stuff myself and just be able to make the goods that I want of that. Some gems. Here's the meat starting. Oh, I'll buy the anvils. Here's all the meat. Ooh, lots and lots of cave lobsters. Notice that quite a few of our dwarves like the taste of cave lobsters. It's like one of their favorite foods. Cave spider silk thread, thread, silk thread. Buy all this thread. And thread can be made into cloth. That's the whole point of it. But I already have a large stockpile of cloth, so it'll be a while before we need to worry about any of that. Buy the cheese, buy the splint. Alright, so that's pretty much everything I want in that whole caravan. And I'll just give them a couple more bins. And the main purpose of a bin is to allow you to sell a whole bunch of goods without... Ooh, it looks like I've actually got less bins here than I thought, so our people are still moving them to the trade depot at the moment. I'll have to cut back on a little bit of the things that I've been wanting. So let's see what I can get rid of. Looking for high value items. I'll take out the black pyropes. Ooh, this stuff is really expensive. That one rose gold flask is worth 891. There we go. So they'll make this trade most likely, or not. I have to give away one more thing, it looks like. One more thing of relatively important value. Get rid of this llama cage. Those two cages. Alright, so they'll make that trade. Or not, apparently. Really? It's a pretty good deal. You're making $700 profit. Alright, I'll give you your tin cage. There. That's a ridiculously good trade to make right there. What? Okay, so now he's apparently upset at us, despite the fact that that trade right there, if you look at this, he's making 1,742 profit. That's a pretty good profit. So now he's not going to trade with us. He's upset. He's going to leave. That's no good. And that's from our hometown, or our home civilization. What a jerk. Well, it seems like only the humans really like to trade with me. The elves got upset when I gave them wood. Now these guys are getting upset because they're not making a huge enough profit. Well, fine. Fine. Oh, wait a minute. I thought about giving them an offering, but it appears they're already going to leave. Whatever. But you can see all of our dwarves are carting off these beds to the hospital from our carpenter. Wonder who's in here right now. Looks like we're trappers randomly in there, making animal traps. I don't believe that a trapper is required to make an animal trap, but whatever. We have stuffed a bunch of animals into this little wooden cage here. Looks like we've got a horse, llama, mule, donkeys, and more horses, cow, and a bull. All stuffed into one little tiny cage. You can see here. It's made of larch. So that's a pretty huge cage, or otherwise it's an incredibly tiny cage, and this is Dwarf Fortress, so the laws of physics do not apply. Right, so we're getting close to being done with the miasma vent, and that will allow us to really start beginning the butcher industry, which will put more dwarves to work. Always good to be putting dwarves to work instead of loafing around and eating all your food and drink. Although at this point we're really not worried about running out of that at all. You can see Observer's probably never going to leave this area except to go to sleep. I'm guessing that he will pick his food up from the stockpile in his dining room, which I'm going to give him this room right here. And then he'll bring it with him to his office, sit there for probably 16 hours or more, then go to sleep, wake up, and repeat the process. So that is going to be Observer's life for probably the rest of the fortress. Unless I decide to make him something else and give someone a new bookkeeper. I don't know. I maybe let him retire at some point. Keep his lavish accommodations. Alright, so let's go ahead and throw down some beds inside of this area. And dwarves always like to have chairs in their houses, as well as tables, and not just to be dining rooms, although that's what the purpose of those two chairs I put down were, just because they like having things to sit on. It's apparently one of their favorite things. And I'll have to take a look and see what... I'm just ordering up some more thrones here. See what Observer's wants are, what type of things he likes. Alright, Observer is... apparently has a very high-pitched voice, you'll notice here. Hooked broad nose is short, golden eyes are sunken, somewhat broad ears are splayed out, has a narrow chin, hair is clean shaven, and it's pale brown skin. Okay, so let's take a look at what she likes. Likes magnetite, billen, turquoise, cedar wood, raccoon leather, the clear crimson, or the color crimson. Well, that's good because you're sitting in an office made of bauxite. Short swords, okay. Leggings, grates, earrings. chins and donkeys. Coins and donkeys. For their stubbornness. When possible, she prefers to consume prickleberry wine and llama milk. Absolutely detests oysters. Okay. Well, the good news is large memory, or great memory, but deficit of willpower and poor focus and luster creativity. But the important thing about being a bookkeeper is memory, because you're just a numbers person. That's all you do, count stuff all day. But it appears that that's what Observer's good at. So I'll be sure to include some cedar wood inside the room there. Probably make a cabinet out of cedar wood. Actually, let's see, cabinets are F. 2 cabinets and some containers. Chests. Try to get those made out of cedar wood. We no longer need animal traps. So I was manufacturing animal traps because I wanted to start capturing live animals for the butcher shop. Alright, so let's see if we get a spam of messages about them not being able to. Doesn't look like it. Yep. They're okay. They'll be able to do it. And we got more people filling in finished goods bin. Can't make any more lye because we need more buckets. That's okay. Probably good on lye for the moment. I've crafted another masterpiece. Section of the cavern has collapsed. What's happened this time? Doesn't look like anything serious. Nope. No one's even injured this time. Although they might be very soon because of that gigantic cloud of smoke. I don't know. But this was an unnamed dwarf, so who cares if they die? There they are. Looks like they are okay. No injuries. They're just a little bit stunned. Always happens to dwarves. They get a little bit confused or stunned because they fall. But then they're right back on their feet and back to work. Alright, so we have the rest of our miners heading up to finish out the channeling there, and then we can finally designate the... Oh my, that's not a very smart way to do that. Okay, so here's the improved agreement that they're going to give us. Price of those is going to be pretty high. Lye, all that stuff we ordered is going to be there. Alright, so it looks like they were not mad enough to just end the entire trade relationship. They were just upset that we gave them a bad deal. Yeah, right. That deal was amazing. Make that much in profit. And I was going to even trade twice. Looks like plump helmet season has rolled around again, so all of our farmers are planting seeds. You can see they're all there on one field. They're going to put this entire room is going to look like this farm here, just full of plump helmets. Okay, so here's what they want to sell me. Oh, another section of the cavern collapsed. Yeah, I thought that would happen because you were digging out underneath him while he was standing there. And does not appear anyone's injured. Nope, no one's injured. Okay, I'm going to designate the last bit of this area on the top floor to be channeled out. And once I complete that, I'll get rid of the staircases. Actually, I might leave them there, I don't know. But for the moment, it's ready. It's able to be used. For the miasma venting. I hope it works out. Don't know for sure that it will. One thing I'm confused about is why this table is still here. Oh, apparently it was never removed, like all the others. You can see there's quite a few trees that are designated to be cut right now. Just to add some more to that list real quick. We've cleared a lot of the trees near our fortress right now, so the land around it is mostly full of plants, but trees will grow back. Like you can see, there's little saplings in the ground here. Ash sapling, all that stuff. It's all usable in the future. And I think during the winter is when this area of our fortress looks nicest. It's kind of a lighter colored stone, and they're all smoothed. Nice thing about this surface is that the smooth stone is actually very, very smooth. Alright, so here's what they want. They want meat. I might be able to provide that. They want armor, doubtful, and anvils, also doubtful. And lastly, musical instruments. I can definitely give them musical instruments. There's no problem with me making those. You can just see now that our dwarves have finally moved all of our trade bins, all of our finished good bins, up into the trade depot. They're now going to have to move them back down to the stockpile because the traders have already left. So there's a problem. Looks like our insane dwarf still hasn't died yet. They're just moving really slowly. Alright, they're looking forward to our meeting next year in the fall. Right before winter. Unfortunate that we didn't get anything out of them, but oh well. Looks like there's only one trap currently. Alright, the stuff we made for Observer's Room should be finished by now. The cabinets. Alright, wooden cabinets. I'll try to get them. What did he like? Cedar? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. Well, what about the containers, the chests? No cedar. Spiny dogfish leather bags. Rope reed fiber bags, pigtail fiber bags. Siltstones to coffers. Well, he likes the color red. I think there was a cabinet that made a bauxite there. No? Huh. Well, we'll have to keep making those wooden objects then. Oops. I can't actually designate the construction to be made of that metal, or that wood. I have to let them pick it and then go through the list. See if I even have cedar down here. We may not actually have cedar. I don't know. Doesn't look like we have cedar wood. So instead of wasting our time on that futile effort, I'll have him go back to making animal traps, which are A. No, that's armor stands. Animal traps are P. And in Observer's area, we'll give him wooden cabinets. Because at least they'll be made of wood. And some wooden chests. Make them out of willow and chestnut. And tables. Oops. So we can make this his bedroom. Assign it to Observer. And this area here. He already has a study, which is his office. So won't be needing that. Whenever we get our union leader. then I'll give them a study and an office, as well as a dining room and stockpile for food. But just for the common administrative positions like manager and this here, bookkeeper. Don't need to do that. Speaking of the manager, I am planning on setting that office up very soon. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and play it out here. It's still not very complete. Still lack a lot of the seats and the statues and all that stuff. Might have some statues on hand. Let me check. Another section of the cavern has collapsed. No one's injured. Likely. Doesn't appear so. I don't know what Corb's doing over here. Okay, 2 more pieces of roof tile, which are already designated to be cleared. So hopefully they don't clear that edge one first, because that's going to cause problems. Alright, good. Shouldn't be any collapsing going on then. And I'm going to tell our people to come smooth out this area. Even though it's only going to be used for the purpose of venting miasma up to here. Our kennels are completed. We can train war dogs, hunting dogs, capture land animals. I think I'm going to have them train war dogs for now. Just repeat that process. I'd like to start assigning war dogs to the people who have to go outside the fortress, our woodcutters mainly. Because I know there is a kobold civilization out there, as well as a goblin one. Haven't had any encounters with the goblins yet, but I know the kobolds have been stealing from us, and I know once kobolds start stealing from you, if you don't stop them the first couple of times, they start getting a little bit bolder and stealing more and bringing bigger people or bigger parties to steal from you. So it'll be pretty high on the agenda to put up some fortress security. I tried setting up a ceramics industry, but it turns out my game is not the current version, so I can't. Very unfortunate, but what am I going to do? I'm going to go ahead and, a mandate from the mayor. Make pig iron items. Oh yeah, not going to be able to complete that. What's this? He has a throne room, a grand bedroom, a decent dining room, 4 chests, 2 cabinets, a weapon rack, and an armor stand. It's a pretty impressive holding for a single dwarf at this point. So yeah, I'll be right back. There'll be no noticeable difference in time.